How much will 1 million ZBCN hypothetically be worth in 2025? Now, to answer that question, we first have to assume a hypothetical price scenario. And in my case, I do believe that 10 cents is that scenario for ZBCN in 2025. Now, if we do some basic math, 1 million ZBCN times 10 cents, that's going to be $100,000. Now, again, nothing I say is financial advice, but the way you take a look at it is that why wouldn't ZBCN reach the price of 10 cents in 2025? Now, people may be thinking, okay, that's impossible. Take a look at the market as of right now. Things are dipping. It's really bad. Well, in my opinion, in the short term, yeah, it may feel like that. A lot of people that I know, they like to panic sell and all this. But for me, I'm still holding because I don't think the bull run is over. I just don't see why it's over this soon. I still think there's a ways to go. And even historically, we do know this to potentially be the case. Take a look at how usually altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. Are we even a year removed from the last Bitcoin halving event? No, we're not. So think about that, right? The last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of 2024. So 18 months from then is actually around October this year. There's still plenty of time, in my opinion. I just don't see this as a panic mode type of thing because I am not focused on my portfolio as to what happens to it next week, next month. I don't care. I could care less about that because whatever happens to my portfolio today, tomorrow, the next 2 weeks, 2 months, I'm still going to stick with the same strategy acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That's it because I think the market will go back up again. And this really reminds me of, back in 2021, during that February, March time before things really took off in a massive way, when things were kind of boring, kind of volatile, really reminds me of that. But you know what? Great things do take time and patience, and that's why I'm still staying patient when it comes to ZBCN. It's not like we have to really wait that much longer, anyways, maybe, in my opinion, because, sometime near the end of 2025 isn't, that far away, but it could feel like that, especially as of right now when the market isn't doing that good. However, take a look at even Charles Hoskinson, who is the co founder of Ethereum and also the founder of Cardano. He predicts that 1 to 2 years from November of 2024, because he did say this hypothetically in a video that was part of back then. He said that 1 to 2 years from then, he could very well see, Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. I mean, just let that sink in. He's predicting that as a best case scenario, you know, Bitcoin could reach anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000 by around November this year. Could you imagine that? Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be 100% correct. However, when a reputable individual like that says that, I'm going to pay attention. I'm not necessarily saying that again, this is going to be a surefire thing, but I'm just saying, when someone is able to co found Ethereum and found Cardano, or should I say be the founder of Cardano, he knows a thing or two, in my opinion, about this space. And I just don't see why it would be a bad prediction. Now, here's the thing. In my opinion, as long as XRP and XLM still has a future, which it does, I still do believe that this will as well. It's just like this, for instance, logically speaking. As long as Dogecoin and Shiba Inu still has a lot of hype, in my opinion, Pepe will as well. The way you take a look at it is that even though, ZBCN isn't as big as a Pepe or something like that, it kind of gives me the vibe where it's like the two market leaders within this space is XRP and XLM. Again, when it comes to the niche or the category of something like ZBCN. So as long as they have hype, as long as there is a future for them, ZBCN is naturally going to go along with that as well. So I don't think that when it comes to ZBCN, it's going to go off into the abyss or anything like that. So the way I view it is that this is a very special project. You know, People keep thinking that, oh yeah, this market's done and all this. Well, here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of short-term volatility. However, in my opinion, the payments market is still valued at over $2 trillion currently. The global trade and finance market is still predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. So these markets, they're not done. And I think neither is XRP, neither is XLM, and also neither is something like ZBCN, because it's focused on the same markets as Ripple, aka XRP, and Stellar, aka XLM, but then it's at a much lower market cap. So, of course, there could maybe be more volatility, things could be a little bit more uncertain, but I'm going to believe in this because the way I take a look at it is that I'm looking for the next big thing. I'm not looking for the big thing. When it comes to ZBCN, as of right now, could the price go lower in the short term? Maybe, we just never know, but I'm still going to be acquiring because only time will tell whether or not I'll be correct when it comes to this, but I'm willing to take a chance because when it comes to ZBCN, we got to think about this really logically, right? going to the price of 10 cents doesn't even seem that difficult, in my opinion. Theoretically, at least, because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $7.5 billion. I mean, wow. Even XRP as of right now, we're not in a fully fledged board, keep in mind. XRP currently has a market cap that is well beyond $100 billion. So is this even 10% of that? No, right? So the way I take a look at it is that this is kind of like peanuts, and I'm not saying it's going to do this like next week or something, but let's say hypothetically, near the end of 2025, maybe. I just don't see why it'd be too ridiculous. Did anyone think that Dogecoin was going to reach over an $80 billion market cap, you know, back in February or March of 2021. Maybe some people did, but I'm just saying the general sentiment wasn't that, right? But then we all know what happened months later. Dogecoin did do that. So again, things could always seem a little bit uncertain before things really do well. We just never know because what I've seen is that things usually pump when I least expect them to do so in some cases. Take a look at Floki. When my Floki holdings, and this is a verifiable fact, take a look at one of my earliest videos ever. It was on Floki, right? When I was, holding Floki at a certain point, it was down around 98%, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? But then when it was low, I kept accumulating and accumulating, and then it did around a 30x. Now, of course, Floki's having a pullback, much like a bunch of other altcoins, but I'm just saying, you know, from the times I did accumulate, it did do very well. And even as of right now, still, Floki is doing very well when compared to those moments. So I've seen that happen before, and I've seen, Floki just randomly, boom, go up like that, like a video game. It happened earlier than I expected. So when it comes to ZBCN, could it peak near the end of this year? Maybe. Could it happen earlier? Hypothetically, yes. Could it happen maybe later? Only time will tell, but I'm still going to be accumulating because I don't give up like that. And keep in mind, there's currently over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research. I mean, just let that sink in. That's kind of really impressive to think about. That's not 10% of the world's population. I totally understand that. But compared to the peak of the 2021 bull run, we pretty much have double the amount of crypto owners when compared to back then. I mean, this bull run could be amazing. Now, of course, in the short term, things could always be very volatile. But for me, it makes no sense for me to sell any of my altcoins, really. I'm in this already, right? Personally, for me, what I put into cryptocurrencies is what I would have put in my bank account anyways, right? I would have put it in my savings account or whatever, in which case it wouldn't really have done much anyways. So instead of doing that, I get it. When I put in my savings account, it can't like drop down like 40% in a day or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not logical for it to do that if it was on my savings account. Could happen in the world of cryptocurrencies, but I'm willing to take the chance because the hypothetical upside, in my opinion, greatly outweighs my fear of seeing it go down, if that makes sense. Now, only time will tell, but I'm still going to believe in ZBCN because 10 cents that's still my price target for this bull run. I'm going to stay patient because I think that as May, June, July comes along, let's say summertime, this could maybe be a different story, which is why I'm still staying patient. And 10 cents still my price target for this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.